Hello and welcome to the Fortitude Podcast. This is Season 2, Episode 17. Today I am joined by the gloriously, should I say, Game of Thronesy.
Hey, I'll take that. Jason Watson.
And also Games of Thronesy looking. Some would say Carl.
Oh,
the Carl Drove. Did you know it was coming after saying?
Yeah, you couldn't just allow it. Like, it was relatively nice. I mean, considering I put myself as a Carl on Instagram days ago, you instantly called somebody else the Carl.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the Carl that you were talking about?
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Carl Drogo.
Carl Drogo made it across the seas. Has a picture of me sitting on like a big chair.
That's so sick. That was Kamal. Hi.
And me, Frankie Luz. Jay, what's your Instagram?
Sick soul.
Hey.
Life of Kamal.
And me, the real Frankie Luz. And let's go very quickly into agenda for the week. The podcast. We're talking the
You
weekly
say trans, Kay.
Yeah. Thank you for
trans
listening.
agenda. Nice.
I liked it.
The weekly recap, the K list, because he has no
Marvin,
bounds.
Wait, what did I do this time?
Don't know, we'll think of
I'm
it.
struggling to think of anything this time.
We'll think of it at some point. We're also going to go into, I believe we're talking about the Joe Rogan alpha beta.
This is a great topic.
Beta thing.
It was, I believe, do alpha and betas exist?
There you go. So, do alpha and betas exist? And then I imagine, Jay, you haven't planned for your story this week.
Oh,
Did you?
Jay, you little beta.
Don't say that.
I was about to say, fortunately, they don't exist, but then...
Have you got one?
podcast,
I'll apologise.
The Joe Rogan podcast
Oh,
proved
no.
otherwise. But yeah, I have got a small story to tell
I
you.
apologise.
It's the double headbang.
Oh, is that what it's called?
The double
The
headbang.
double headbang.
I'm
And
excited to hear
then
this.
Kay's challenge that, should we even leave it in anymore?
I mean, yeah.
I don't even do them.
I mean, I don't do them, but let's
Let's
Fuck
leave
it.
it in there.
It kills off time, doesn't
yeah,
it?
gives us
whoever
context.
does them, does them.
Yeah.
Right.
And we can't remove a K piece.
We can't, I suppose it wouldn't make sense to remove something so
You've already
godly.
made in that thumbnail anyway.
Kay's in the last week's thumbnail because he's so glorious.
Fucking, I can feel myself sinking into hell. Why
the hell?
That's just how I feel.
Kay's the tallest one today on this.
It's that chair. It's that sweet ass chair.
Right.
Sweet.
Weekly
ass
recap. Jay,
chair.
what have you been up to?
All right, so this week I've been prepping my article because I'm getting a magazine feature, just like Kay did. Cheers, bro. So because obviously we spoke about Kay's magazine the other week, and now I should be getting a front cover feature coming up. And so I feel like since I'm trying to talk about this one accomplishment I'm having, you've got you two making mad sounds, and you've gotten really high up. You've gotten really high up.
Sorry.
Now I can't even tell the word about like a good thing.
Man, come on.
Thank you.
Come on.
No, it's
And
'cause,
it was a Kay's smile just then as he was smiling so happy
knew what he
about
was up
you two
to.
going up, which none of you were listening to me.
I was.
And,
You were talking about your
and just
magazine.
like that, Kay, what you been up to this week?
Oh, come on,
This
man.
happens
Kay,
every
what
week.
you been up to this week?
It's every
Yeah,
week.
you love it. Kay,
No,
what you been
nah,
up to, bro?
bro,
What you
come on.
what you been up to, bro?
Come on, bro. No, I
How-
refuse to say.
Just tell us what you've been
How
up to,
can you
guys.
guarantee that you're going to be put in? Has he guaranteed it? Because I wouldn't trust him.
Yeah, and basically, I've been very like normally I'm quite like timid in these situations. I feel like I shouldn't ask or like I won't push myself out there. I'll be like I feel
You
like
fully
it's not-
requested it this
Yeah, I
time,
just
didn't
feel
you?
like it's not my place to do it. Whereas I realise actually, if you want things to happen, you should really strive to make them happen. And like instead of trying to be nice and be like, that's okay, yeah, I'll get my turn eventually. If he's offered it before, you should stick to what he's offered.
No more nice
and
guy.
Make it happen. Yeah, no more nice guy.
Hey.
So yeah, he's gonna make it happen. See what happens, won't we?
Sweet. Do you know what you're talking about, or is you got
Yeah,
more?
I've made my article. I'm not going to share it until it's been released.
Oh!
And I'm going to be writing another piece for the blog now that the new updated website is finished. So that's
Yeah, what's
pretty cool.
happened? Have you not blogged for a while now?
I've got blogs in reserve, but I haven't been releasing anything because my original website was shit, basically. And I've made a new one which is a lot better.
Cool.
So I want to work on making that instead of releasing a terrible website. So The
Experience.
website
I like it.
is up and live, ready to go.
What's it called?
rusticsouls.co.uk.
Hey,
Hey,
model,
trademarked
entrepreneur.
for all you trolls.
And what's the point?
So I like blogging. I like talking. So it's a chance for me to just an outlet to have things to say. If it gets traction and grows, and that's pretty cool. It's also an opportunity to portfolio myself in terms of like the modeling venture we're trying to go on and trying to just get that PR. So it's basically like a hub where people can find out more about who I am. Not that there's many people who want to know, but if there are
That's
some,
what
everyone
it
wants
is.
to
You never
know.
know who's listening.
there you can find out all about what I'm up to.
Hey, K.
So this is getting released next week, isn't it?
Yes.
So that means the speed dating event would have happened by now.
Well, we can talk about that on next week,
How
can't we?
exciting!
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Oh, can't wait! Cannot wait.
Are we
what's
getting
gonna happen this week?
is there free drinks for the speed dating thing? What's going on?
I mean, we'll probably end up getting. I haven't paid for a single drink last night. With
Oh,
Really?
really?
Yeah.
Nice.
No.
Riff-Waff, you are too kind to us.
Yeah, you
If
are
you
so
listen
nice
to
to
this,
us.
remember you do have access to our facility.
You do indeed.
For 25% off. Let me have free drinks. I'm a red-haired guy, so I'm hard to miss. I mean, I'm quite small, so I might be actually quite easy to miss.
And
We'll
But
get 20%
myself.
off.
Both-
All
thanks,
the
man,
Fortitude
that's
fitness
not
members get 20% off.
Frank, what have you been up to this week, mate?
I mean, to be honest, Kay didn't actually say
that's all right, bro.
what he was up to.
That's all right,
Kay
Frank.
merely
Sorry,
said the
because
word.
That's
I
all
felt
right.
like you were
That's all right.
diving into a different area, so I thought we'll bring it back in.
Oh, sorry.
What have you been up to this week, Kay?
That's all right,
I don't know
bro.
how it feels. Now
Single
you,
K.
Now you sound like me when you're trying to say what you're up to and you
Nice.
get.
That's all right, man.
What's single
food
K been slamming this week?
I feel like we could tell people what you've been up to this week.
Drinking.
So I know that Kay has gone for a shoot down at Felixstowe this week.
Oh,
Some
shit.
very nice photos for Callum Auroras? Aurora by
Callum
Callum?
Best.
Callum Best, yeah.
Yeah.
Or by Callum.
Yeah, that's his like
Necklaces.
necklace. It was really nice photos, really cool.
They're, iPhone XS and a little.
Well, let's not put it all on the phone, Kay. You are the model.
Who took it?
So
Jade. Jade took it.
Who?
Jade. As in my ex Jade.
Oh.
yeah. So that's.
I see what you're doing here.
That wasn't the plan.
No,
I wanted to see if
no,
I
Frank,
could
that was Frankie's plan.
gauge your week based on what we've seen on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then you went out last night, didn't you? You had a good time.
Yeah. Fantastic night out. in Ipswich, you know.
So yeah,
Getting pretty. I think I like going out.
you've been doing it a lot.
You've been
recently.
going out a lot.
Well, I mean, it's been 2 weekends in a row.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. That's like what? That was a Saturday. Was it? That's a big time.
You say that because you technically went out with Jay and Max, so that was like 3 weeks
Yeah.
running now, isn't it?
Yeah, he doesn't really count us, so does he?
You're irrelevant.
We weren't out though. We were like.
we went with where we went down to Ura. We went back
He
to
doesn't
Wisbech.
count you as out,
Oh,
Jay.
we did too, but yeah.
I was
that
more of
was
a
good
charity
night.
show.
Charity show.
I was a fan taken out.
Hey, this guy owns a gym.
Oh, no.
Remember that?
Look at this guy. Yeah.
Oh, no. So no, it was a good week. I think I'm done with going out for a bit.
Oh, I don't know if that's true.
No, I am.
I reckon you'll be out
When?
Thursday.
Thursday. Well, yeah, obviously. It's a speed date,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always on it.
Always.
Oh, what if Columbus hits you up on Saturday asking you to go out?
I'm not feeling it.
What if you got nothing else to do?
Well, I'll probably have things to do on the laptop and stuff, so I'll probably take care of some of those things. It's really unproductive going out because you go out, you're out till like 4 a.m. You're really tired the next morning. You're unproductive in the morning. You're also dehydrated. You've had a kebab the night before, so it's when you weigh it out, it's really not worth the fun. You know,
Don't go out, kids.
Yeah.
Stay at home.
Yeah.
Frankie, what have you been up
Learn. Adapt. I have actually been staying at home.
to? Learning
Yeah.
and adapting.
Learning,
stay-at-home
adapting.
stepdad.
Evolving. Would you say stepdad?
Stay-at-home
stepdad. Well, I've been just doing a lot of gaming stuff actually.
Yeah.
Done a lot of the game stuff. What was that look? Okay. Did you just try and give Jay? Did you just try and do the look we do to each other? But you just try to do that with Jay.
Oh, we
No,
do
it's
look
okay.
at each
I
other.
didn't receive.
You didn't but I knew what you were up to there, Kay.
I'm
I
a
was
bit-
just trying to catch your head because you keep every time you talk to
No, I
about
mean,
gaming, you
oh.
look at Jay.
And
Okay.
I
Sorry,
have
Kay
a,
doesn't like it when you talk to me.
I have a theory. Ready?
Oh
What's that theory?
Oh Jesus!
I have a theory
What is it?
that these lads hate my game and stuff.
Why do you
Because
think
we're
that?
lazy in sharing it and stuff.
I don't even think you watch it. What are you doing to me, Kay? You leaning on me.
I'm
like
looking that
pushing
way.
me off.
I'm looking.
I go through bits.
No, I have a feeling that you don't like any of it.
No, I go through bits. I won't see any of your videos, and I'll watch like 8. So eventually, I'll watch all of them again, and you'll know when that happens. There'll be a bunch of comments about what I've just watched. But
Kay,
are you seeking a compliment from us?
No. Kay,
like it?
Jesus, Kay.
Whoa, not
Are
in
you
a
seeking
horrible
a
way.
compliment?
No. I didn't actually mean as far as content. I meant as far as me putting my time into it.
Why?
Do you too? Because I feel like I get the hint that you don't want me to do it.
Wait, how?
When
When have we
did
ever
you
said
get that
don't
hint?
do it? When have we ever said don't do it?
It's that King K.
I don't ever tell you not to do it.
Nah. Do you know what? Because Kay said to me the other day, actually, he said the words, "Start doing stuff for our YouTube."
This is bringing us to the K list quite smoothly.
Yeah, I'm very good at that. He said, "Start doing stuff for our YouTube because let's just face it, it's the one that matters."
I feel like he didn't say that.
He didn't really say that. But I feel like that's what he meant, you know? And all he actually said, so it's for me to, for me to take that statement as what Kay said, Kay actually said, be sure to do engagements.
On both your
Everyone. He said everyone, but aimed at me. Audience, I'll put it in the last podcast.
It's incredible how you fabricate anything I say. If you can do 30 minutes of engagements every single day, that'll be great. Just try to keep that up.
There we go.
Team. Yeah, that's I find
You
that.
have subbed at 100. No, you hit 100 subs, haven't you?
Have you?
I have, but I personally feel it's going back into that. I'm trying to look both ways.
That's all right, mate.
I'm trying. I feel like it's
When you
very-
put your hand on this side of the table.
follow, unfollow. Do you know?
Are you getting a bunch of subs so you don't think you're actually going to watch your
No,
stuff?
I
they're
don't think
following
so.
you because you followed them. And
But I don't follow them.
just because you've engaged with them, they
yeah.
give you a follow, but they won't watch. They might do, though.
I don't quite understand. No, because it's a weird one. Because at the end of the day, I've got now 10 people that absolutely love it and I actually get on with them and I watch their stuff. And I wouldn't class them as friends. But as far as online friends go,
they'll be the ones who, when you expand further and you get to the point where you do live streams and Twitch stuff. So when you live stream on YouTube, you can do I think it's like a power comment or something. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
But if you pay like $2, £2, as well as make a comment, your comment will highlight blue on your screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they can pay to make sure that their comment comes up brighter on your screen, and if they're paying like $2 to have their comment appear, you then guarantee that they read it. So the fans who have been here from the start are more like to be like, oh, $2. I remember when you done this 3 years ago, and I was the first one here, and you'll be like, oh, I know you.
Yeah.
People love to have that kind of.
It's a weird relationship because at the end of the day, we only know each other by watching a video, and you only know each other by what you've said in your own video.
Yeah.
So again, I wouldn't class it as friends because I don't think that is what it is. But as far as people being nice to each other, I just think it's that.
It's cool.
But yeah, there's a few guys and stuff that I've been sort of mingling with. Some, and it's weird that a lot of small channels make some good content. Some make some awful content.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to be that guy, so I always support there. I'll always drop a comment.
They might get better over time if they're getting support from other people.
Well, my first videos were shit. I mean,
I don't think they were there because your level of what you class as not very good doesn't seem to be the same.
I didn't mean the game, and I meant more back for the wolf approach. Can you remember?
Oh.
Like when I stood in front of my my kitchen in my jogging bottoms.
Yeah, great videos.
Terrible, fucking terrible. But that leads me on to something I'm not really going to go on the K list today.
Fake friends.
There isn't really anything to talk about for the K list.
And I didn't want to. We don't treat this as a proper topic because we'll talk about Mr. Joe Rogan's beta and alpha thing. But I feel like I want to do this thing. Do you know how things go viral? Like hashtag, obviously, I don't know, slap a friend challenge type shit like that. I want to do.
They went to slap me, bro. Imagine you just to do a big slap across my face.
I want to do a one pick take I had a really cool name for it in there, and I forgot.
One big take.
One big take. But essentially, what it is that because I still am struggling to upload on Instagram due to the fact that I can't get over the mental block that is fakeness. Even the photos that I've put up recently with a Fitco, I don't mind doing a joke caption, but as far as actually releasing content daily, I can't get around how fake it is in my own
what's
head.
fake about it?
Well, it's just not reality. Reality to me, and this goes into what I want to start doing, is the very first photo I take is the one that goes up. Therefore, it's real. It's what it is.
That's like saying if the very first... All right, the very
You're not
first...
talking into Mike, bro.
Oh, okay.
Oh no!
Cheers. That's like saying the very first, I don't know, car you've ever built is the one that you're gonna have to stick with because that's the first one and that's the first.
What?
Well, let's just say the Mercedes-Benz thought they'd build
No, that's
a car.
not the same because that's one car might be more efficient at driving than the other.
Exactly. One picture might be more or less blurry than the other.
Well, all right then. Now you're reading into it. Let's say take the blurry photo out.
Okay.
I mean the first
Lighting, aperture, exposure, like all these things can be improved.
What do you mean in the
can't
context of the photo? Like pretending the photo means you're doing something that you're not.
I basically mean that. I don't mean
they? Do you mean
genuinely.
deception within the photo of?
It's well, yeah, because a lot of the things when I'm just standing there staring at the camera, it's not real. I'm not doing anything. Like it's
You're
more
posing for
candid
something
shots.
that's not actually happening.
yeah, I'm posing for the sake of getting a photo up that day, which to me I'm not. It's my opinion. I'm not saying it's the.
What if you're modeling for, let's just say, Fitco, for example, and your entire point of taking a photo is to advertise Fitco? How would you feel about taking a photo?
But then we're then going into business terms.
You're in a funky state.
Yeah.
You got to remember that. I guess what you're talking about. You're talking about your photos being what you're actually doing, like not saying I'm going to sit here and claim that I'm doing something really impressive that I'm not actually doing. So if you're going to upload a photo on your personal Instagram that isn't to do with advertising a product, if it's just a photo of you of what you're doing, you're telling us that you don't want it to be that. You're pretending to do something. You're actually going to showcase what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
And not try and be something you're not, or try and overplay
Could
what
you
you're doing.
share an example, please?
No, because you're putting me on a spot here. I didn't expect these questions.
Kay's trying to...
You're trying to catch me out,
I think he's trying to put clarity into so people who are listening can understand what you mean. So I think, for example, like we do a lot. Everyone does a photo like where we're gonna. I could be not doing very much, but I might put a photo out and say I've got a big busy week of business and going on, and like to try and show that I'm doing something more than I actually am.
Or like my story earlier of all the busy calendar where it could just say food, gym.
No, but again,
TV.
for you that could be real. Whereas when you put in your story,
but if you weren't actually doing that, you're not going to upload things that you're not actually doing.
Yeah.
So if you're not sitting there doing like a biz thing, you're not going to say that's what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, that's essentially.
But that's different to saying if you're going to upload a photo with of like modern Fitco, then of course you're not going to do a one-shot take. You're going to have a pro photo, like probably edited by Kay with his photo skills.
So as far as fake content is concerned, there's a hashtag fake news that a lot of influencers use. Meaning that they took the photo 2-3 months ago, a year ago or something. So it's not actually happening right now. That's not what they're doing. And they caption it fake news just because they wanted to upload for the day. And they didn't want to miss their upload.
All right, to reword then my original comment. It's probably, not to take the exact first photo. But to more, when I see people take 100 just to, and like making sure the exact angle. To me, in my own head, don't give a shit.
So you're going to be a bit more raw. So you're trying to be raw with your photo. Not necessarily terrible, but not
because then I wouldn't want
pristine.
fuzzy shit photos on my Insta. That doesn't look very clean.
So
if you didn't quite get your delt in the right position, you'd be like, I
don't give a fuck. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you're going to take raw photos of things you're genuinely up to, as opposed to pristine photos based on something you're not actually doing.
And I quite like the whole idea of like being a bit of a meme.
Right.
Like I've ironically taken the piss out of something. No, I don't ever want to target people. I never do that sort of reel because I think I've done it like once or twice on my stories before and then slag someone off for doing it, and that's hypocritical. But yeah, I think as far as like what you've said, as far as making it raw and so on.
I can imagine people mistake you for being quirky and funny. They'll just think that that's the kind of content you put out. If you just go for like a mediocre sort of photo without any edits, they'll think that you're not being funny. They'll just think, oh, Frankie just puts out.
Oh, some people, 100%. Some people won't even understand that you're taking the piss. A lot of the times, if you click my actual photo, press it, I'll tag things that are so just ridiculous in the background. Like if there's like what have I done before? They're like that alligator one that I photoshopped in. I tagged Crocs as the thingy.
I like that.
So like it's obviously that joke. I mean, there's a fucking alligator in the photos. I mean, if that wasn't enough. Yeah, but I think I might go down that route with my Instagram because I was looking through photos the other day and I was just struggling to pick one and put it up because I know full well as shit. It's just horse shit. I've got loads of photos of the Fitco ones as well, and it's like, I can't.
You just don't like putting things.
Yeah.
So what's? Let me ask you a question. What's the point of posting it? What's your motivation behind posting that photo?
Well, that's the thing. That's where the whole thing came from. That I want to kind of show my life as out there and put it out there because again, the whole Gary Vee thing about branding yourself.
Yeah,
I want to brand myself. I don't want to be socially not there.
Do you still want people to see who you are on Instagram?
Yeah, see who I am,
and then that will lead to them hopefully going on to your YouTube channel. And
hopefully, and everything's connected, and it's so obvious what my personality is. Yeah. Whereas, like when I'm standing there fiddling my finger, going serious, even though that there and then I put a funny caption, the photo itself was taken seriously type thing, and that's essentially
that's fair.
And I'm not saying no one else, whatever you do is wrong. That's just what I want to do.
Each to their own.
Each to their own, indeed.
And
Fake
at least you cleared it
influencers.
up because at first it sounded a little bit like an attack on anyone who's uploading pristine photos, but now you've cleared it up to make sure you weren't offending anyone who was trying not to, who was doing up like daily photos, or maybe were more into having pristine photos and uploading a caption that's not necessarily so true, but some people do that. Everyone does that.
Again, I'd be a hypocrite to then say that, because if I look back, I swear I done a post the other day and said what I find cringe is when people do the whole like rise and grind type thing. Rise and grind photo, and then I obviously in my story I tagged one of my old profiles where I had that rise and grind.
Yeah.
And then I was laughing to Louise how funny it is and how lame it is when people do it. And then I looked back at my the real Frankie Loves photo, the skull one. I went, and then it said "Time to rise," and I was like,
you did it!
That's such a meme.
You have to be very careful with what you say you're going to be and what you accidentally fall into.
I feel like that's going to be a phase, though.
What do you mean?
I feel like you'll change your mind in about a week of getting into the photos, and you'll think, fuck it, I really want to take some nice photos now.
No, but I'm not saying...
you're not saying they're going to be bad photos.
I'm saying they're going to be real.
Oh, okay.
We cleared that up when you said about you can upload like a slightly blurry photo. We did clear up that, no, he's not going to upload a blurry photo. He's just not going to upload something.
The one of you smiling with your missus type thing. Like, it's real, isn't it? It's you having a good time with your
it's still
your
a nice
partner.
photo. It's just not being... posed for.
That explains why whenever we ask Frank to take a photo of us, it's always like one singular photo. And it's like,
now you're just dropping shit bombs on Frank.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Like he's a poo plane.
I wish. Oh no, diarrhea!
If you could see, if Spotify and Apple listeners, if you could see what's going on right now,
it's hilarious.
I do. I'm gonna. We'll end this one here, and then I do want to ask the question before we go into the topic.
Yeah. All right,
to you two. Let's go for it. Ooh. So we went to a break and I got torn apart. I got baited. So that's going to go into that later. Right, on to the question I wanted to ask quickly.
Yeah.
Because we hinted on it last week, so I don't want to just ignore what we said.
The
flakeluences.
That's me. I'm a flakeluencer. I eat a lot of flakes.
So I think we said something about the fitness industry being very showy. Is that a good way to say it? Again, I don't want Kay to then say, "What do you mean by showy, Frank? You stupid cunt."
No, there is a really fine line now in the industry, in the fitness industry, influences of people desperately trying their best to become like an influencer to get that reward from it. That whole, which is fair because if you want to get rewarded and you want to make some money potentially or get these sponsorships, you have to showcase a certain thing that they're looking for. But there are just, you're losing of that kind of realism you once were getting from Instagram, like where you look at people's stories, you look at what they're doing, and they're actually showcasing what they're up to, as opposed to just wanting to show you what they think you want to see. I feel
like he's about to do what he done to me.
You can.
I'm scared.
No. I want you to. I invite you to say you're right. That's the whole point.
The invite bit, I ain't heard that since the March
chat. It's coming back.
That's when Elliot Holspring back there.
Oh, fuck.
You can always notice a trend when there's a train the trainer sort of scheme coming up. So, meaning like personal trainers teaching other personal trainers how to get clients, for example. Or a lot of the ads that you'd see on Instagram these days is become an influencer at, I don't know, $10.99 a month. And all of them just break down all these ways to take photos and the way to manipulate your audience and all that sort of stuff. But I agree with Jay. Like everyone's literally trying to do the same thing now, trying to get that influencer status, trying to get as many followers as possible. Which brings me to a quick topic actually of engagement chats. And for the last couple of days, I've been a part of some engagement chats myself, using an app called the Telegram, which is where it's essentially like a group chat where you just send a link. And you have an admin in the Telegram as well, which tells you off, and it's really lame as well.
Okay, got told off.
I got told off twice. So the way they tell you off, it's called warns, as in warning. It's really lame. And if you don't engage with everyone's accounts, you get a warning.
Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
which
these
is pretty
fake
clever.
engagements, isn't it? Like
unsincere.
unsincere.
So I said to Jason straight away, it feels so fake, like you're not actually interacting
So
with
where
people.
do you stand on that? Because that would be very, would you say, what we're talking about as far as you're trying to do anything to get in the public eye? So what do you think about that?
So I think
you are actively a part of one. So
yeah, so I'm actually exited the Telegram one because I just seemed I was in the same group as makeup people, so that didn't make any sense to me. So I'm now in 2 engagement chats, and I'll make one by the end of this weekend for fitness as well, for Instagram. And at first I didn't like it at all. It seemed the same sort of feel. But once you start interacting with those kind of people, it does become real, and you all know that you're interacting with each other for the sake of getting essentially getting to that explore page, because the more interactions you have within the first hour, the more likely you are to get on the explore page. So even though you all know that you're on the same mission, still at the same time you can still appreciate each other's content, and the comments that you do leave on each other's page doesn't say like epic content, bro. It's actually quite relatable, and you have a full-on conversation.
Yeah,
so I got to know that. That's all right.
Before you were finishing your sentence, I was about to.
At the start, yesterday I wasn't really a fan of it, but by the end of today, I thought, you know what, I'm actually interacting with these people, I'm making some friends, and it's actually not bad.
Yeah, I don't think industry-specific engagement or networking chats are necessarily an issue. It's better than the fake ones who are like of maybe buying likes, buying comments, buying things, or just falsely going to places they don't care about in order to get responses. Like, at least there's a bit more soul and a bit more care, because you are, the whole idea of social media is to connect with people within your field potentially, or other fields. But like, if you're a fitness person, you want to connect with other fitness people. So it does make sense in industry specific one, where you're actually engaging with people who you probably would care about, and it gives a chance for you to showcase who you are, and they can see, and you can see what they are. So there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's relatively good. Like, it's a good thing to do if you actually feel to people who are actually wanting to help. If you're in there not giving much in return, then
it's pretty fair.
It does lose a little bit, and that doesn't really, the engagement chat thing doesn't really go into what we're talking about in terms of what someone specifically puts out there to be like. An engagement chat is fine, like that's cool, but this people within that chat, are they pretending to be something they're not, or are they showcasing things they?
Well,
I think there's fine lines to literally everything.
It's a really grey area, because we've all done it. I want people to perceive. I want to be perceived on Instagram as like someone it has like a quite a good lifestyle, who's into this, into that, and does business and so on. So I want to be seen to be that person too. But then I'm actively trying to be that person for real, and I'm not trying to lie about that in order to get something else. Like,
I personally can bring myself to like. So I don't really like, as much as you probably will disagree maybe, but I don't really like boasting about things or boasting about materialistic items as much. So all the things that I would boast about on Instagram would be true. But for example, things like my car, I never really actually post it because it's on finance, I don't own it. So things like that I'm still uncomfortable with posting, but the things that I do own, then I'd proudly sort of show it. So there's some things I keep away. For example, family, I don't really put any of my family on there, even though I do have some amazing times with them. There's another thing. Let's quickly cover some numbers. My usual profile views per week is about 1,500, 2,000. And since I went on the I'm Just Bait page, which is a meme page with 2.8 million followers, I've posted that video for them. It went up to 8,100 or something. Yeah. And since I've been on these engagement chats, it's actually kept it up. So instead of dropping it. So engagement chats do work. I've definitely been on the Explore feed more often. And I'm no longer shadow banned. So
quick question.
Yes.
I make a joke now and again, flexing.
Yeah.
And to anyone out there who doesn't know what flexing is, whereas
that weird flex when you
you have something of worth and you would like have it on screen. Like let's say I had my Gucci bag or watch or something. I don't know what they fucking do. Oh, look at this! Look how sick this is. That's like flexing. And I've taken them again before saying, "Oh, weird flex K."
That hasn't always been for material though. You've done that. That can also be through.
I do it more to because that's what we do. We do that to each other.
Rip into K. That's what we do.
That's the main reason for it. But as far as your opinions on, like you said, if you owned your car, let's say you had a Ferrari.
Sure.
Would you?
Absolutely.
You would.
Yeah.
And would there be like a limit of posts you'd have, or would you just do it when you feel like it?
If the audience engages with, I check the sort of posts that do well, and then I try to keep them up. But if the audience engages with the Ferrari posts more than non-Ferrari posts, then I'll definitely capitalize on those, and I'll make my page more relevant for Ferrari because I can then capitalize on it and make more money from it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it from a business point of view. I'd then probably at that stage create my personal separate account and keep that real and keep it non-Ferrari based. But if suddenly there's a rush for it, like I've uploaded a topless selfie the other day, got like almost 4,000 likes in comparison to like a normal photo, which is like 1,000. Which goes to show that people probably want to see more nudes,
abs.
Yeah, but that's not you being fake. Like, because those are genuine. That's a genuine body that you have underneath that body, and it's genuine hard work you put in to achieve it. So you've managed to get the engagement through something that is true. Like it's true. That's not like you didn't pretend that you're not faking your way to get there. You've got there. You don't take illegal drugs or anything. You get there naturally.
Do you know the weird thing is that you could have the same exact Instagram, and this is where I get confused, and I try and break down things in my head that are you this type of person on this, and this is where you never know, is that you could have the same exact Instagram, like 2Ks, 1K has the intentions of business, like you said, you check your analytics, and you do this, you do that, whereas let's say you had a stupid K, who luckily got things and luckily got money, therefore bought a car, worded his description a bit differently to Smart K. The same profiles, then he's flexing and he's not. So that's weird, isn't it? You have to then judge the book like that because
that's why you just got to be true and honest. But if you want to be true about, you can be a business Instagram and upload fitness and that can be true because that can be actually what you are and what you're doing. But like we said, if you're saying, look at me, look at my car, look at my house, when like you're living with like your brother or your mum and like your car's not really yours yet and so on, like then that's and you're trying to advise people on how successful you are based on what you're pretending you have, then that's an issue, and a lot of people are doing that. But if you're just out there showcasing your genuine push and your genuine journey, then that's cool. Then that's what people should be doing. There's just we're just losing what we should be trying to encourage other people to do. We shouldn't be trying to brag to other people. We should be trying to help them grow, not showcase what we are and what you're not. It should be what I'm doing and what you can possibly do as well.
I'm not going to call this guy out, but there's a Forex trader on my Instagram account who messages me, replies all the time to fitness stories and stuff. And his account is literally, you see incredible cards, supercars, and his screen with his Forex accounts and stuff, and cash essentially, and him taking, I don't know, photos of his watches. In reality, I've asked him about it and stuff, and he said, "Oh, I'm not fully doing it. I'm just doing a few like courses and stuff. Dad's cars and his uncle's cars, and he's just learning how to do trading. He's not making any money from it, and in fact, he was asking me to see if I would want to invest to get his account started. So from the Instagram account, I'm like, wow, this guy looks incredible. In reality, he's actually he drives like a I don't know,
drives whatever.
Which is pretty lame. But then also, to a degree, these are platforms for you to grow and develop into something. So you have also got to somehow, if you want to use it as a reason to grow, you have got to make changes. You don't want to tell everyone you're just failing, do you? You don't want to be the guy
everyone's
who's
got to
out
start
there
somewhere.
you want to show people your struggles and where you do go wrong, but you don't want to showcase that you are just...
Which goes against pretty much everything that a marketing book will tell you, wouldn't it? Like one of the first books I read was 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. And he literally has a title that says how to make a company look like a Fortune 500 company, and it's all these different tricks and skills to make yourself look bigger. Back in the day, me and Jason had, I think we've told the story before.
Loads of times.
We've done it loads of times.
Pretending to be something we're not.
And the biggest one of them all is Siobhan Childs. Do you remember Siobhan Childs?
I remember that.
Should we tell the story about? Yeah. So we pretended like we had a separate department for customer care, and we had a customer care advisor called Siobhan Childs. We made her up. So every time we get an inquiry, which was like once in a leap year, would reply back as Siobhan Charles to pretend like we had a PA.
There we go.
Yeah.
Look at that.
No one, the thing is, like, and you might even think people don't know. People wouldn't know that. I think that's badass. And I can't get around in my head how I feel about it. Because one minute, like I think, nah, it's fucking stupid. And then I can argue with my own self in my head and be like, there could be a reason why.
Yeah.
Well, look where we are. Look how the business developed. We're sitting in a gym on our podcast. So like, you can't say it was wrong.
No, I don't mean that specific. I'm just saying
what we wanted to achieve.
Everything we've talked about, as far as like faking fake it till you make
to
it.
To a degree, definitely do have to do that. Yeah.
But there's like a balance of what you can kind of play with and manipulate, like cleverly done things to make you look better. Like we were young kids trying to become businessmen. Like you got to do something. Like
the most important part here is the fact that we weren't lying to anyone to missell them. They were getting the service that they were getting, but just through making us look a little bit more attractive.
I mean, it's hard enough to be taken seriously at the age of 25, let alone when you're like 18, 19, 20, 21. So you've got to start doing little things to boost you, and then you can fill those boots as you get older. Like
right now, I don't like we've stopped lying about shit probably a few years ago, but I think the more success we get, the less you start using these tricks.
If I was going to talk to someone potentially for a client, I'd open my diary and have a bunch of pretend people in there. I haven't actually got booked in for anything, just to look like I wasn't just that's a kind of person.
That's a method of selling, though, isn't it?
To look like you are actively busy.
So sales is deception, but for your best.
I went into this thinking today and this is where I think I'm all right, because I went in thinking fake influencers are stupid. They're twats. But because
you thought me and Kay were stupid.
That's what you.
No.
I feel like you're thinking about us a little bit when it comes to fake.
Yeah. I'm really not. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking of someone, and I'm not going to say it on the podcast. No,
why
absolutely not.
It's definitely Kay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you off podcast.
Can you write it down?
I'll do it off podcast. Let's do it off podcast.
I feel like you've read in a little bit too much to when I said I think they're twats. I don't think they're twats. I'm just trying to hype up the wording. No, because you're making a reaction and it'll be very obvious.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Let's keep it.
I'll tell you off podcast.
But
I know because you've left me on saying I think they're twats.
Fake influencers are terrible. But
I've changed my mind because now I that's the thing. I have changed my mind.
There are some terrible ones out there.
But I have also changed my mind because people could be trying to make a business of it, and if you for example. Faking it till you make it, and faking so much that you then get that little bit of ad money from somewhere, maybe.
Get some snowball effects.
To then do something meaningful. So I've changed my mind completely.
Yeah. Well, you got to still stick to your ground, because I still believe there are issues in this, because there are people.
I'm confused.
There are people actively feeling low about themselves, thinking, "Oh, I'm nothing like this person," and this person's happy to be idolized. And
here's a perfect example. There's a perfect example right here.
You've got to not want to be. There's some of them want to be like, I am aura, I am everything. I want you to be obsessed with me. I want you to really believe that I'm so much better than you, because look at my lifestyle compared to yours.
I'll give you an example of that as well. Let's just say you do a 30-day plan and you sell this plan to people for $10 a month or something, and it's got everything you need: your diet, your training plan. The only difference is your transformation photo is you've been on 300 grams of testosterone a day or some shit. So also you're on a natural, but you claim to be natural. So when the person does that 30-day plan and they don't look like you, then that's fake influencing.
That's terrible. It's using it for negative as opposed to making some few changes to make yourself.
I've changed my mind.
Yep, back on it.
Now I'm back on that. Yeah, I agree.
It's
a balance. It's a yin
I'm
and
very
yang.
confused.
It's really grey, and the only way it's hard to get it. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what the issues are and where it's okay and where it's not okay. You just got to remember that, like, if you're allowing someone to possibly think you're like the best thing in the world, and you're allowing them to idolize you to the point where it's almost kind of a bit demeaning towards them because they're so, and you're almost looking down at them and allowing it to happen, then that's a massive issue to you. You need to reconsider what sort of person you are, because you shouldn't be allowing or thinking that you're above anyone. But if you're doing it to make steps forward into a career or a business, you're making small little changes and you're trying to look a certain way without completely setting out who you are, then that's okay. So you kind of got to grasp where it's okay and where it's not okay. But that's also subjective to what another person may think is okay and not okay. So these areas are areas you can discuss, but never really come to an end point.
So that is the end point. That you can never come to an end point because there's too many factors, and I'm confused out of my head because I don't know what I believe anymore. So I'm flip-flopping. I've just realised though, if you're like if you were in like a war and you were the bad side, you could manipulate the fuck out of me. I wouldn't know. I'd join you. Like, if you use your words right, you could
that's why
persuade
you're
me.
not with your information anymore, Frank. This is
Well, that's the power of politicians and so on. We're not politicians, but the power of influence you can have over people. You can literally tell someone one thing, they'll walk out this room and someone else will tell them something different, and they'll be convinced instantly because we believe what we hear. And it's hard to, if someone's good at talking and can give you a good argument and a good point, then it's really hard to knock that back. And people do question, and you start to think, wait a minute, if this person just said this and that person said that, who is actually right and wrong? And
I've always thought you were good at talking.
What's that?
I've always thought you were really good at talking.
Yeah, Jason's
and I like when we've had our meetings and stuff, I've always known full well that there'll be a point at where you can outword me and I can't come back with anything. Because I don't know how to. I'm not very good at talking.
It's so like when confidence in what you have to say, and even if you're not very confident, if you're not very confident in what you have to say, try your best to sound confident in what you have to say. I once tried to sell that to some people on a group thing, so I was on a wellness course and how to like.
I remember this. Yeah.
And I was talking to people about when you're a PT, when you're developing as a PT or a person, and we were trying to give advice to someone, sound confident. So I said to this whole group of people, like, I could literally tell this person something completely wrong, but as long as I say it confidently, they're going to believe me. And everyone kind of looked at me like, you're horrible. And I was like, no, I'm not saying I'm going to tell people the wrong information. I'm just pointing out that if you say things with enough demeanor and confidence, you can almost convince them of anything. So if I don't know and I really want to try and tell you something that's not true, but I want you to believe that it is, I can almost, if I'm confident enough, you will believe it. Just like the story I just told you now.
Oh shit! Was that a fake story?
No, it's a real story.
That was a twist.
I haven't seen Frankie's eyes dilute so much in my entire life. This keeps happening.
I'm slightly disappointed that wasn't the thing. But even the fact that you managed to,
what if I just double crossed you again?
And they manipulated this guy.
See, it's a never-ending cycle.
Dum here will be the one
alpha
to go
or
out.
beta.
All right,
wait, now we ain't got time for that.
What do you mean? We do because I think we're all roughly agreed on it.
Yeah, go on, let's talk about it.
So the alphabet. I mean, I was the last one to listen to it, so therefore I'm going to be the last one to talk. So I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Do you want the dum-dum to say what he's got to say? Because then you can change.
Give some context about what happened.
Joe Rogan, obviously, he's got his podcast. He had, what's his name on?
Adam, I can't remember if it's Adam Conover or Conover.
Adam Beta.
Now, this is where...
Wait.
I
mean, you can't let a man start his story.
Go on.
All right, all I want to say is that for the small... I got cringed out, so I stopped watching halfway through. But I felt like the Adam guy, and when Kay was talking to me earlier on, because I had a point that I meant, and I knew what I meant in my head, but he wasn't wording it very well.
And then you had Joe Rogan talking to him, just making snappy little things that were just making him question himself, and that's what Kay done to you.
Which throw you off, spiralized.
And look how different he is now and how he is to earlier on. He was really trying to do that.
That's
why off camera I went, were you doing the Joe Rogan thing where you were just letting him talk, but just
talk himself out. So the person that talks the most. He then ends up
He talks
sounding a
himself
bit.
out of this. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I felt
Shit.
bad for Adam Connigan. They're talking about Joe Rogan obviously believes that alphas and betas do exist in human culture and human society, whereas Adam Connigan was suggesting that they don't exist in humans. They exist in animal cultures, but not necessarily in human cultures.
Keyword being necessarily.
Is that?
Keyword being necessarily as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I feel like Adam's point got a little bit lost in the sense that like, because he was suggesting, I think the main thing he was suggesting was, let's say you've got a jock and a nerd, and there's a bit as he mentioned, which did make sense. You've got a jock and a nerd, and the jock is considered an alpha male, like because and Joe Rogan described an alpha as athletic, dominant, and overpowering, and then the nerd was, and obviously a beta is anxious. Well, Joe Rogan described a beta as anxious, shy, and not very confident at all. So you got a jock and a nerd. So they're at school, at high school, the jock is the alpha, the beta is the nerd. But then what Adam said, when the nerd then went maybe to hang out with his friends in his own environment, he might have been the dungeon master, the lead man. So was he then the alpha within his own environment? Which means if he could be considered a beta here and an alpha there, does it really exist when how he reacts in certain groups and certain places is always going to be different based on what environment he excels at and what environment he doesn't excel at. And I think that's where that depends what you're looking at. If you're looking at character traits, if you're saying an alpha is someone who is confident and dominant, and then you're saying a beta is someone who isn't, it's really hard to just determine if that's what they're truly like in all situations, because this beta could become an alpha in.
I think
this
either way, there's
environment.
definitely a hierarchy to it as well. Like you said, that he might be the big fish in a small pond as the nerd, but then as soon as he comes into a real life size pond, then he's still the small fish.
Yeah.
So you can have as many. I mean, the most alpha guy, like Joe Rogan, was alpha in that situation, but if he stands next to John Cena, then
he might not.
Yeah.
So is alpha and beta subjective to environment? Is it environmental?
It's an environmental based. Yeah.
So therefore, then Joe Rogan's point was right in saying that they do exist, because by saying they don't exist or it's not a thing in human society, which is what Adam was saying, which is where he went wrong, was saying that they don't exist because he doesn't believe it, because someone can change in each environment. But an alpha trait and a beta trait is considered in certain ways. But
and it's evolution as well. I think he mentioned what Adam didn't agree with is how females not necessarily find, and I'll use the word necessarily again, they don't find an attractive man, attractive alpha male, more attractive than a beta male.
Yeah.
So they could have the same sort of looks, but if this guy is more powerful, if he can provide and protect you on an evolutionary sort of basis, then you're clearly going to find him more attractive rather than a scrawny little kid.
Yeah. But then in the modern world, this is where you got to look at obviously modern and non-modern. In the modern world, he may not be the toughest, most powerful guy in the world, but he might be financially able to give you a good life. So therefore, if he owns a house, his career is good, his family's in check, he technically is an alpha male in the sense that he's looking after his pack.
And he's got the security guards
you.
around him and shit, so he's still technically stronger,
So then you also got to consider what is alpha and what is beta, because you also the problem I get with alpha and beta is the fact that as soon as you mention it, you get a bunch of people who see themselves as alpha stand like no, get really angry because they're like, because that's what they are. Like, I'm alpha. I'm going to get mad at you for just suggesting that it's not that important, because they hold everything. Is it very alpha to get so upset
That's the
over
thing,
someone
yeah.
saying
I've
you're
got a
not
point to
alpha?
make, actually.
Because it shouldn't really matter. I mean, it's a really hard one, but yeah, that's what I don't like. Also, the fact that if you are alpha and if you are beta, what a lot of people are suggesting is that the alpha male is above the beta, which means that if you're walking around saying you're alpha, there's alpha and there's arrogance, and they're becoming arrogant instead, suggesting, oh, he's beta, he's alpha, we're friends, I'm better than these guys, even though these guys might have excellent careers, excellent mindsets, and
but you're
doing
going
powerful
from
things for the world, but the alpha males are, I'm better than them.
You're saying
And
that
that's,
from the alpha believing he's an alpha. What happened if you had someone watching a group of people?
So I was going to raise this point so there's this FBI person who watches who's alpha, who's beta, does it on an international level. So they got a room full of people, and they had one guy in there already, and they slowly introduced one by one another person into the room, and each one of them, the point of the game was to figure out which one was the most alpha man out of them all. Ended up being the big bad guy, obviously.
But what were they doing in that room?
Exactly. So they were sitting down and they were just interacting, and there's things to do, and they got given some tasks, and they were all based on body language and all that sort of stuff. So when you take away all the credentials, all your hard work, all your money, and all your power, when you're in a room and your characteristics come out, that's how they judge you. If you're an alpha, for example, body language like slapping your hand on top and stuff like that. The shit that Lawrence taught us. But also, just general, essentially just being the more dominant male in the room was the alpha for them.
Yeah, so that's just so what Joe Rogan was saying was right.
Was completely true. Yeah,
there are alphas, but what the problem is, what do you gain from that? By taking out everything that exists in the world in a room and putting a bunch of people in a neutral room, you've just got a man who's considered the alpha man.
Well, you have a leader, and the leader can lead the pack and make things happen.
But what if the leader is, he's the most powerful in alpha, but the leader might be dumb. Like, he might walk around being really dominant and so on. He's taking lead of the group, but he might have terrible ideas and be stupid. So
which is when the tasks came in.
Would they wouldn't be called the alpha then, would they?
Yeah, so there's a mission. If they have a mission to complete, and say there's a task, and this newly formed alpha male of the group is unable to provide and protect, essentially for again back to the illusion. So if he is unable to protect and provide for the group, then he instantly goes back a level, and the next person in line who can do that. Yeah,
which goes back to my statement before that alpha and beta are subjective to environment.
Exactly. Yeah. So and skill sets and stuff. Yeah. The end.
Go, Joe.
But yeah, Joe was right. Adam was wrong, I think, in most cases.
I'm struggling to say he was wrong because, he was wrong in the sense that, I guess actually,
I couldn't think of any point that he raised that was correct, actually.
If he's only wrong because he then said that they don't exist at all. If he wasn't suggesting that's not a part of our culture, then what he was saying would make sense. But because he said, no, they don't exist, then
I think if Joe didn't interrupt him, or if he didn't let him interrupt him, and he finished his entire point, I think he would have had a much stronger case.
If he wouldn't have been chipped in, it'll just let it said without chipping in.
Joe being a male alpha, he didn't let him have a single correct point.
Yeah. Which is where...
and you'll never know.
Which is where it's not fair. Then Adam should have stepped up and not allowed himself to get pushed aside in the conversation.
And that goes back down to the theory of he could have been an alpha, but he wasn't. Yeah. So.
But now we're saying that he's not good and he's been defeated by Joe, and Joe's the better man out of the two.
He has.
Yeah, but would you suggest that Joe's a better man than him?
Not in a sense of being dominant, but not in a sense of being...
We're talking about Adam now like he's... Our general tone towards this man is lesser than our general tone towards this other man, and that's where I don't think it's
I see what
but that's a whole different conversation. That's down to how humans are overall. But
Adam could have jumped further than him and had a better vertical jump, and
could be richer.
He could be richer, but he had more degrees than him and stuff as well.
He could excel. But it's hard. To say to the topic, which was, do they exist? Then I believe they do exist.
What do you believe, Frank?
I don't know.
Do you think alphas and betas exist?
Again, I feel like if I would have loved to have heard what Adam would have said without being chipped in, because he might have had a point that sadly we have then deemed like from our knowing of what an alpha and what a beta is.
Based on your current knowledge of everything that you've heard.
We then assume that everything he says correlates to what I'm thinking, whereas his points might be more scientific than my bro science going on in my head. Therefore, I don't know. That's why. If I go from my own knowledge at the moment, I'd say there is, but I would like to be proved wrong.
Yeah. Definition of alpha being the leader of the pack.
I believe there is always a leader. Yeah. But then, again, all right, you two, is there two? Can you have two alphas? I'd love to go on now, but we've run out of battery over there.
That's a problem. And then,
so we've got to end it, Jay, because we've only got 10 seconds left.
That's a harsh one. This is a good one.
Two alphas and Fortitude.
Okay, so we left it on, obviously, can there be two alphas? But we're not going to go into that today. But in the comment section below, I want you to comment who you think the alpha is. Or if there is two alphas.
There's two alphas.
Obviously, you've got a beta boy in the middle here being pulled around, where's he going? What side's he on? I don't know.
Can there be two lions in the pride? There can be.
Because now, again, I am confused, because... I don't. But again, what is the term? What is the term alpha? What is the term? Because to be honest, if you went from the things that happen to you, and you were going by the alpha and beta term, surely some of the horrible things that have happened in the K list, surely are they not alpha things?
Yeah, that's the thing. But then
you're very alpha.
Does
I've seen you be alpha in certain, and shut you down completely. I've seen it.
Look at that. Look at his
Yeah, no, I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand.
I've never ever been alpha.
When the going gets tough, I've seen Jay saying, I remember when we were looking around at the new gyms and Kay said, right, I think we should go.
Dark and eerie time.
And then Jay went, no, we're all staying. And then I was like, oh shit.
We were all tired. It was a late night. I was getting stressed out because it was getting too difficult and annoying. I wasn't ready to be done yet, but Kay was ready to be done.
I was out of respect. I didn't say anything in front of the entire group. It's true because
I didn't say anything because I let you.
No, to be fair though, because you shut me down in front of the entire group, and there was a lot of your family there, so I was clearly not going to start a whole argument in front of everyone.
But if the
I gave it to me. I did find it disrespectful at the time though.
No, yeah, it was. It was disrespectful, and we already discussed it.
I put it in my notes immediately. I got my phone. I was like,
and I already know that it was because it was a moment where I let the environment and the situation we're in take control of what my rational thoughts were, and allowed myself to be like, oh no, it's because I wasn't ready, and it was a big moment. But to sit there and say you allowed me to do that is also
because that would say
I believe that someone thinks they might be the alpha in this group.
I think he might.
I'm saying.
Do you think you're an alpha?
I'm saying that in a different environment, if this was anyone else, I would have shut them down straight away and say who you're talking to, sort of thing.
I believe.
But you're obviously a bro, and that's a whole new different level. Like you can be alpha and beta with a bro. Like I'm not going to start an argument with you in front of everyone.
I just don't know. No, because I agree. I think.
Can you really imagine me? Even if Jason was disrespectful to me, which he was in front of the entire group, I'm not gonna then be like, bro, what the fuck you said? I'm not gonna start a fight with you, am I? I'm gonna be like, okay.
No, you'd have a discussion. And
I wouldn't. I just left it because I know it would be a heated discussion. So it's better, a wiser decision to stop the discussion.
We've all had heated discussions before
in front of the entire team.
No, I'm saying between yourselves and between ourselves and so on. I imagine there's been times when you've had differences. And again, if we go and buy the whole alpha and there's a leader of the pack, again, where does it end? I don't know.
That's what I believe is subjective because people will always believe in their own right that I'm the alpha, I am, and they will convince themselves they are, and they won't believe that anyone else is, and they so
that's the weakness.
Sometimes it's within your own thing, and they can't open themselves up to the idea of someone else being, because no one really wants to be it. Which brings me back to when we said that there's an issue where people believe they're better than others by being the alpha. No one wants to say they're not the alpha because they're suggesting other people are better than them. I think the alpha and beta thing is an unhealthy thing to have within a group, or as an unhealthy way to consider people and humans. Unfortunately, it does exist.
I think as a silent rule, like an unspoken rule, I think it's quite healthy. There needs to be some level of hierarchy. Because by having an alpha, you have a certain person of command, essentially, which unspoken we do. So we're in charge of the gym. We have the two people that are in charge of the gym. So when
you just let them say they look at each other. By the way,
I know, I heard it.
But when we have big discussions, obviously they come down to us, knowing that I don't know, Karen's not going to make a big gym discussion, gym decision. So
you have the people who are in charge.
But are you saying there's a point? So obviously,
I think there's certainly a hard. It can be.
But you've got two people that own the place.
So there's a point, but it can be spread against.
So you think
certain people, many people. So it doesn't have to be one person of the point. Like in the pyramid, there isn't one stone.
Well, I would agree that is the case between you two, but again, I don't know what the term alpha and beta actually really means.
The dominant male.
No, but we're like the dominant male. So if there is one in every group, and which we have established that to be the case after everything we've just said.
Group, yeah.
I think we.
So you're going against what you've said because you've said that the dominant male of the group, or can an alpha be a female?
It can be. It's a
dominant. So the dominant
trait.
gender of the group. So by everything you've said, surely you would agree that there is a...
But what we've also said is it comes to life in certain scenarios.
Yeah.
People take charge in certain areas. It's like you spoke about Karen never taking charge. Well, if we were in her kitchen, she'd be telling us what to do.
Okay, so you believe in your chosen field of what you
when
do.
it comes to talking to certain people, doing certain things in business, me and Kay have quite a good understanding of who should take, not to the lead, but who's best in a certain situation at certain things, and we handle different situations.
All right,
in
that
different
makes more
ways,
sense,
and we've
'cause-
got a good partnership like that, so we know how to deal with certain bits.
I agree.
It's very alpha of me to be
I
able
agree.
to suggest that.
I imagine Kay will tell us off after this.
Yeah. No, to close it up, I also find people who do really fight for it and struggle to accept that they might not be it. Like people who feel they need to constantly display it or struggle, like there is something not alpha about convincing everyone you are an alpha.
It's like when I'm going to
It's
mention
a bit lame. It's a bit lame.
I'm going to name drop.
Don't do a name
don't
drop,
name
man.
drop,
Okay, so
man.
we know who we're
alpha
talking
and
about.
beta, it's a bit unfair.
We know-
I think I know.
We know who we're talking about very clearly because he comes in, shakes our hand over the top.
Yeah.
At this stage, we don't give a fuck if you're in our gym at the end of the day, so it doesn't matter who does what. Like, I think he tries to show it too much, which makes him in the end look like the beta male anyway because he cares so much about it.
Yeah, because we've gone to talk to some of we found it interesting when we went to talk to some of our potential new partners, and they approached the handshake with their palm, their top of their hand facing down, actively allowed our hand to go on top. They control the rate of whose hand goes where, first of all, or is it they just don't care? They just don't care because they're super rich, super successful, are already alpha because they've got control of their family, their financial life, they've got good social lives, they control their business, but also they all control their business.
I think they know they're powerful enough to do whatever they need to do, so they're quite carefree about it. There's no need to assert your dominance, but
for a small victory of in your own head convincing yourself you won that handshake.
Yeah, who gives a fuck?
I'm happier when I hide it and bury it down.
To be honest, when there's if there's a really loud person in the room, say Tom Hunt, I wouldn't really care about that person being the loud one. It's only until the point of disrespect I find that you're a beta if you get disrespected, sort of thing. Like if Tom Hunt started shouting, "Oh, you dickhead," then that's
just out of nowhere. What have I done? Save my lunch.
Then that's the problem. Then alpha gets confronted.
Well, that's from our bro science knowledge of alpha and beta. You know, if this doesn't get a million views, then we're
Let's
all
get Lawrence on the
betas.
show.
Well,
Let's do it.
Jesus! He name dropped. He name dropped.
Let's get Lawrence on the show to talk to us about the alpha stuff.
Right, we've got to end it just in case it cuts out. So, screw the challenge. Okay, we're not doing it. We ain't got time. To my left.
Jason Watson. Okay.
To my right.
Life of Kamal.
Jason Watson over
And
here, by the way.
me, Frankie Lars. Jay, what's your Instagram?
Rustic Soul.
K.
Life of Kamal.
And me, the real Frankie Lars.
Hey.
Comment below who you think. I've been eating a wee this whole time. Comment below who you think the alphabet is.
No, don't do that.